Well, hello there. This is Mark Rizzn Hopkins. I have a little bit of an interesting demo for you today. This is the Animus the Cat dev update demo. If you're in the Discord, you're seeing this. Why you're seeing this? Because I don't think we're posting this publicly. Maybe we are. But this is that little dev updates thing that you see Animus. You see Animus over there on the shelf. But Animus will update us with every time there's a GitHub update. So what's happening behind the scenes is actually quite fascinating. It's happening on the Animus framework. And so I wanted to kind of like walk you guys through how that works. And I'll do a live update to the system while we're on video here, and you'll get to see how it goes. So what's going on over here? I've got cursor over here. I've got our TUI chat up here. And these two things are the ADEs, which is what Letta gives us to have like full control over what's going on with an Animus agent. We're releasing versions of this soon that are Animus architecture specific, but right now this is kind of what we use to see what's going on in the brains of our Animus agents. On the left here, we have an agent called the mouse, and on the right is the inner workings of the brain of Animus the cat. So the way I set this up, and let me actually pull up the code base. We're gonna open source this up. On this top screen up here is the code base for how all this works together. There's a really solid README that explains how to implement it on your own Animus servers, so it's great. But what happens here is, if you look at this input right here. So this is what comes out of a webhook. Oop, nope, don't want to do that. It comes out of a webhook anytime you do an update of any type. So look at this. This is just a whole bunch of garbage data. It's a lot to try to parse through. And it gets computationally expensive. Animus is actually working on a high-grade frontier model. We use 4.1, GPT-4.1, because it's just really good for the personality aspects of things. But you don't really need all that power just to sift through a bunch of random webhook data. So we created the mouse. The mouse runs off of 4.1 Nano, and which is like really super cheap computationally, and it'll get all that. And then we designed a little tool that sits inside of Letta that will say, I mean, actually, this is not the tool that we designed. This is part of the built-in Letta tooling that allows agents to talk to other agents. Here's why that's important, right? You don't necessarily need a response from Animus to the mouse other than a simple acknowledgement that it's been received, right? You don't need them talking back and forth endlessly to each other. And that's something that can happen if you have agents talking to each other. You have to have some sort of way for them to break out, because their assistant mode is something that will just force conversation endlessly, and they get stuck in loops. So this is where Letta and Animus are a little bit different. We have that framework for when agents talk to other agents. They understand when the conversation's done and they stop talking. So this is what happens. The mouse will send a niced up version, and the mouse is prompted to be very, not terse, but very to the point, summary driven. And then Animus will pick it up, and oh, no, this is when I was saying. So actually, let's just do a brand new one so we can get both of them on the screen. So what I need to do is go over here in cursor and say, hey, since we ended that issue 25 on the list, go ahead and close that issue with comment. And so cursor over here is going to close it with comment, and that webhook will pick it up within a second or two and send a message to the mouse. It takes a second for Letta's little ADEs to catch up, but we'll see it show up here in a second. See, this is this giant, so this is that giant thing that comes in, closing a notification, send message to agent async. So that requires no response, and that's what was sent over here. And then you can see over here on the agent simulator, Animus got the update refresh push, and does the little thinking, and then does a Discord send. So this is the custom application or custom function that we wrote. Says GitHub 25 is closed, blah, blah, blah. So you can see that it's sending it to Discord. That does a little bit of thinking, and then, yep, just talks to itself a little bit, talks back to Mouse a little bit, and does not require an answer. And then if we go back over here to the Discord, and let's go into the right channel, Animus, dev updates. You'll see it right here. That all happened very instantly. So let's see. Let's just do a quick update here. I'm just going to make a quick edit to the README so it triggers another push, so you can see how quickly this occurs. That took way longer to explain. I'm just going to change simple. A very simple, powerful. Say that I'll do a little update to clarify the description of the chat client. Push and push, right? And then all that stuff happening in the background, you're going to see Animus post in just a sec. There it is. Like that whole conversation. So the longest delay is the webhook. GitHub actually kind of has like a 2 or 3 second delay. That's fine. Then it sends that giant wall of text over to Mouse. Mouse summarizes it really quick. That Nano 4.1 model is super, super quick. And then Animus does a little bit of thinking about it, calls a function, pushes it to Discord, and sends it to the Mouse and says it's done. That's the whole thing. I mean, this took 8 minutes to describe, but you can see how quickly it was. This took us about 4 or 5 total developer hours to create on the Animus framework. It's just yet another example of how much power is in this code base. I'd love to see you guys start to develop some things on your own. I'm going to make this thing public on the Animus Framework GitHub page. Ask me questions. Happy to get in there in that dev chat and help you. And look forward to seeing what you make with it.